welcome back. This is Baller Scuba with more Let's Play Xenosaga Episode 1. I'm joined, as always, by our virtual squad of Shion, Chaos, and KOS-MOS, Ziggy, and Momo are waiting in the wings. We are back on board the Woglinde, and I'm having a ridiculously easy time. If you remember last time we were here, well, when we were officially here, at least, we just had Shion with us. This time we have a full party, and the Gnosis actually do 0 damage to me no matter what I do. So, we are here because of segment address number 16. We got the key for that last time. Let's go ahead and head inside and see what we can get out of the shiny treasure chest at the end of the hallway. We get a Stim DX. Not the best thing that I've ever gotten, but I will take it. I don't think we have gotten one before. It increases your physical attack by 50% instead of the 25% that a regular stim does, but I'll take it. Sure. Why not? While we are here, let's go ahead and look at the database. It has been a while since we have looked at the database, but that does not mean that there are a lot of new entries. Not really. In terms of the Gnosis, I'll probably do these all at the end. I'll probably go back and get analysis info for all of this. I don't think we even have the ether yet for analysis info. Is there anything new? There is nothing new here anyway. What am I even talking about? So, I'll go back and get those eventually anyway, if I can remember. Now, in terms of things that are new here, Italia, no, that's been there before. Autotech Terminal, I think that is new. If not, it pretty much talks about the auto techs that we fought on board the Elsa when the UTIC organization sent them. There's really not that much to them. Battle in hyperspace. They did create a database entry for that battle in hyperspace that we did see, but it doesn't explain anything nearly as much as I would like. If an object comes in contact with the inner boundary of hyperspace, the column wall, it disintegrates into subatomic particles. Matthews was referring to this danger when engaging in a combat inside such a high-risk environment. Once again, it doesn't really explain what the column wall is, but touching it is bad, so don't touch it. Book. They have an entry for a book. Yes, they mean a book printed on paper. It's an antique in this time period. It's sort of becoming an antique in this time period as well. Makes me sad. Cargo weight is new. Tolls for the UMN transfer gate are determined by the total weight of the matter to be moved and the distance it will travel. Makes sense. Each class of cargo or passenger vessel has an assigned weight limit. The amount by which the Elsa was over its weight limit certainly cannot be attributed entirely to the addition of Shion and her party. The speculation is that the Elsa contains salvage wreckage that was smuggled in at one point or another. So it's not just Shion, it's a whole bunch of stuff that they have done. Charter flight is new. Cherenkov mentioned going to search for one at the dock colony when Hammer asked where he was going. He was most likely searching for a vessel that would take him directly from the dock colony to his destination, in this case a facility associated with the UTIC organization, because he's really working for the UTIC organization. They've definitely implied that. I think it's safe to just assume that from now on. I don't think anything here is new. There we go. Constantly make sure I watch what I'm thinking. This is something that Junior said, but for whatever reason, I'll spoil. We don't have a database entry for Junior yet. It's kind of weird. Maybe because Shion hasn't officially met him yet. When telepaths convert with their minds, they must maintain a barrier so that subconscious thoughts are not unintentionally divulged to one another. You have to keep up a barrier. Sounds exhausting. Nothing else there is new. Director is new. This is capital, so it is not referring to just any director, but the director of Vector. Vector's first R&D division and Shion's immediate superior. We don't have really a name for him yet, do we? He's 41 years old. He appears to be a simple, easygoing person as the head of an entire division. Rumor has it that he is quite sharp and competent. I believe this is referring to the white-haired gentleman that we saw in one cutscene so far. Yes, I know his name. No, I'm not going to say it. Everything else here is the same. Even Dragon Skull, which I wish was something new, but no, it's just a freaking signal transmitter thing that Like I said, there's not that many here, and it's going to take... Oh, telepathy is new. It takes me more time to remember what we have and have not seen as we go through this. Yeah, I think we all know what telepaths are. They converse through thoughts, yes. Too close to fire the cannons, I remember that. Transfer wave, I think, is new? Yes, it is. This is a signal emitted by the UTIC organization's Autotech terminals, which specify transfer coordinates. After infiltration of the ELSA, the Autotech began transferring its remote drones from outside the ship into various coordinates throughout the ship's interior. Since the drones were not transferred directly onto the bridge, it appears that the transfer wave only works within a certain range. Why the Autotech chose to take over the aft hangar is yet unknown. That is a good question. I don't think they ever answer that. Why did it go for the hangar? The little mothership Autotech thing? I don't understand. But like I said, I don't think they ever explain it. And I think that's a comment of the people that write the database out of the guys that designed the rest of the game. They're like, no, seriously, why'd it go there? And the people that designed the game never came up with an answer, I guess, because I don't think they ever do. Wave Ride is new, a piloting technique where a vessel's force field is intersected with the inner walls of hyperspace in order to obtain high velocity. The technique pushes the vessel to the very edge of hyperspace, therefore it requires extraordinary piloting skills. Now this I don't understand, because we don't know what the walls of hyperspace are made of. At least I don't. If you guys could tell me, that'd be great, but I don't think you guys do either, since it's all theoretical. So you put the force field, but not the actual ship, into contact with the walls of the hyperspace, and it makes you go faster. And that's called wave riding. Wells' aliens. I think I've heard of the same thing for like if you did that on the sun, it would work, but whatever. Refers to the octopus-like Martians invented by H.G. Wells. They're talking about War of the Worlds here. The in-game reference is a comment Shion makes regarding Alan's stubbornness. Alan's. Whatever, you're breaking the fourth wall and you're doing grammar errors, game. I don't like this. You're usually so hard-headed with your logic and preconceptions. I was a little worried that you'd become like one of Wells's aliens. For better or worse, it appears as though Shion believes that Wells's aliens have very hard heads. Yeah, I was about to say, the only ones I knew of were War of the Worlds, and even here they're kind of like, yeah, I don't know what she's talking about either. Maybe it's something in Japanese culture about Wells's aliens that I don't know. And I honestly think that is it. Not that much here. I will still put the link at that if you want to skip it. But that is it for the database. I am going to leave the Woglinde, which we are still in, and I'll meet you back in the real world on board the Elsa. It's kind of a journey back with really easy fights, but I'll just meet you back there. And I'm back aboard the Elsa. Before we do move on, there's a few things that I should go over. I did level up KOS-MOS's ether just a little bit, so now we have Mode 7 down dex and down force. I did get that down dex finally. It took a lot of work to get to that. On top of that, I also finally got enough. Well, I had enough before, but I also leveled up Lightning Blast to tech level 2, same as Spell Ray, and then I set Shock Blade, all the weights are all the way down, because there's really no point in me saving everything to get that high speed up just yet. And I have everything distance for Shion, or sorry, everything long, that low speed at close range is on Shock Blade. For Chaos, I did get enough to get Lunar Seal to the high speed and the weight all the way down. We are waiting to get Angel Wings, which we have not seen before, up to high speed. That's the next thing that I'm going to work for. But Lunar Seal is on high speed as well. KOS-MOS has our cannon and our blade, both of which are maxed in terms of weight and speed. Our drill has nothing on it, and that is actually, let's start getting rid of that. Okay. And our drill is going to be the low speed near tech attack. Just I like to keep it so that it doesn't matter what button combination I use on the near attacks. It's always going to be the same one. That way I don't have to keep it straight that way. In terms of the skills, I left everything the way that it was. I don't know if I have anything for you. I don't, which sucks, but we will deal with that. In terms of equipment, I don't think I changed anything. That's the same. That's the same. Yeah, space gloves. He's got space gloves, and it does all the work for him. That's pretty much what we got. We are finally ready to move on. I still suck at the drilling minigame, so I'll come back to that, but if you want to do it now, you could. There's no rush, though. There's no rush, and I suck. So I will move on. We'll come back to it. We need to head to the bridge and talk to Captain Matthews, and that will forward the plot again. It's always the bridge or sleep, it seems like. Except for that one time it was the catapult. But other than that, it's mostly the bridge and sleep. That's all you do around here. And... wait. Is this... who's there? They won't let me talk to that person. There's nobody there, but... oh, I guess that's just Matthews' arrow. You have anything to say, Tony? No? You're not going to hit on Shion anymore? Fine, we'll talk to Matthews. What do you want to do? Do you want to depart soon, or do you want to wander around the colony still? Yes, we are ready to leave. I have done everything that I can do at the dock colony. I've done everything in the EVS system that is relevant. Alright, Tony, we're leaving port. Head for the Miltian star system. Hurry up and get us released from the dock. And now it's time for the return of more docking procedures? Hopefully not. It is, unfortunately. I'm not a fan of the docking procedures. We don't need to see every little detail of us landing in and departing from every dock. Yeah, that's just me. It's not nearly as bad as it was in Xenogears, though. Or it would be like 30 seconds of docking procedures in a cutscene.